Hello, everybody. My name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we're going to be talking about Cameron Bertuzzi and his recent conversion to Catholicism. I just think this is a very interesting story because, to me, I think this story is slightly dwarfed by a different story, and that story is him begging insistently for money because his ministry is apparently losing $3,000 a month. That's a lot of money for a YouTube ministry to lose in a month. $3,000. That's a lot. So we're going to be diving into that. But before we get to that, don't forget to like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. So Capturing Christianity is the YouTube channel of Cameron Bertuzzi. He has about 150,000 subs on YouTube, which is a lot in this niche. It is a lot in this niche. And his content has largely focused on apologetics. And recently, he's done a lot of Catholic versus Protestant stuff. And it's been widely speculated that he would go down in this direction. And the direction he has gone into is he's accepted the truth of the papacy, whatever that means. However, retroactively, the truth of the papacy was applied to history, but I digress. So let's just hear his announcement.
So I've got some pretty big news to share with you today, but before I get to the big announcement, I want to make you aware of a couple things regarding the operations of Capturing Christianity. So first, Capturing Christianity will actually be phasing out of Catholic versus Protestant content. If you followed this channel for very long, you'll know that I've been personally investigating the truth claims of the Catholic Church and then documenting that journey on this channel. I've debated Matt Fradd, I've hosted debates between Catholics and Protestants, and so on. So we'll actually be phasing out of that content and returning to our roots of defending mere Christianity. I'll explain the reason for this shift in focus in a moment. Second, I need to make you aware of the financial situation that Capturing Christianity is currently.
So I gotta pause right there because I'm just curious as to what truths of the Catholic Church fully convinced him. I think the papacy is like the biggest one that he mentions, but seriously, Immaculate Conception is a circular fallacy of, then how was Mary's mother immaculately conceived? It's just a very circular fallacy. So the whole Mary stuff in general, obviously the Pope going back to Peter was retroactively applied. There wasn't an understanding at the time that Peter's successors and the successors after them were the Pope. They were retroactively applied as such. There's a lot of bad arguments that the Catholic Church makes. Transubstantiation is another one, but I digress. And I'm just wondering what is the argument that convinced him. And now he wants to serve be ecclesiastically underneath a Jesuit Marxist Pope. I don't get that.
Currently facing. So over the past year or so, we've been operating at a net loss each month. And as of November 2022, this deficit has grown to nearly $3,000 per month. As you can imagine, this is not sustainable. In fact, I estimate that if the deficit continues to grow at the rate it's been growing, Capturing Christianity will be forced to shut down operations within about 6 months. No more interviews, no more debates, no more conferences. It's all going to go away. And this will obviously also mean that Brittany and I are both out of jobs. Now, having said all that, I do not believe that this is the end of Capturing Christianity. If you'd like to play a part in ensuring that Capturing Christianity continues to expose the intellectual side of Christian belief to millions of people online, we need your support more now than ever. It's absolutely critical that we get this ministry to the break-even point financially, where we have enough income each month to cover our expenses. And to do this, we need new monthly donors on Patreon. That's why I need to ask you to consider becoming a regular monthly donor. If you see value in the content that we produce here on Capturing Christianity, if you'd like to keep learning how you can defend your own faith, keep the content reinforcing the faith of others and bringing new people to Christ, then please become a monthly supporter today. We have some great gifts and benefits that we'd like to give you in return as thank yous for your support. You can actually read all about the perks that you'll receive at patreon.com/capturing Christianity, linked in the description of the video.
Just a quick
I
warning.
want to stress, though, that our current deficit is something that we can overcome. And every dollar a month that you can donate gets us $1 closer to the break-even point. That's going to give this ministry financial security and let us keep producing honest, informative, intellectual Christian content for years into the future. Just visit patreon.com/capturing.
So this, to me, is the bulk of the video, is him begging for cash. Because if you do the math, let's just take a stroll down his Patreon for a second. His Patreon account has 564 patrons. Now, many of you might not know how Patreon works. Patreon is something that takes, I believe, a 5% fee, a 5% commission off of all the money that comes in. So they do nothing except set up the infrastructure and take 5%. You bring in the revenue and they take their cut. That's how Patreon works. 5% is pretty generous compared to YouTube's 30%. And that's on the low end. Like, YouTube takes 30% out of their memberships. Locals takes 10%. OnlyFans takes 20%. And as for Evangelical Dark Web, we built our own, so we just lose out on credit card fees, so which is 3%. But anyway, at an estimated $15 per patron, which, you know, with categories ranging up to $150 or $500 a month from $5 a month, I think $15 might be a conservative estimate on how much money he gets from Patreon a month. Multiply that by 0.95, and this, on the low end, in my opinion, this is a low estimate. $8,000 and $8,037 if you want to be most precise. And if you want to factor in the YouTube, now a lot of people think that YouTube pays more than it does as far as ad content goes. It doesn't look like his channel as an ad supported platform can sustain his career. This is a website called Social Blade, which is a good way to look up YouTube channels to see how much they make off of YouTube. I do have to provide some sort of disclaimer that this type of website isn't accurate. It's an estimate. So the estimate that Capturing Christianity has, and I would say the high estimate is the accurate one. The low estimate's not accurate at all unless he's uploading strictly limited monetizable content. You know, offensive content like I upload a lot. But so the monthly earnings estimate is around 1.1 thousand. The yearly estimated earnings is 12.9 thousand. I think that is probably an accurate number, or an accurate guess is the 12.9. That is a more accurate guess, assuming that he doesn't have to demonetize his own content to play by the rules of YouTube monetization, like I do oftentimes. So I'm going to guess that 12.9K is the accurate number. So he's actually making at least $9,000 a month. And that's before we get into super chats, one-time donations, super thanks, YouTube members, which he also has that, which takes a 30% cut, and merchandise, if he has anything of that. He makes a reference to conferences that he has, which, you know, I assume he's not operating those as a complete loss, or, you know, even if he's subsidizing that, but $9,000 a month. I assume he also has a YouTube manager, which he pays. I assume he has some software equipment, which he pays. I mean, I doubt that he's hemorrhaging, he's recording a net loss based on non-cash expenses like depreciation or other such things. I have a degree in accounting, so his net revenue is at least $9,000 a month, and he's losing money off of that. That's insane. That's insane. Like, I don't do this as a day job. None of the money that I rake in goes into my personal wallet. It goes into its own separate bank account, and I spend it to grow the ministry because, that's what you do. But this is insane. I understand he's at the point where he can do this as a career, but $9,000 a month net revenue, minimum net revenue of $9,000 a month, and he can't turn a profit and support his own probably lavish lifestyle. That is insane. That is insane. But you love to see bad ministries go down. I'm talking about Beth Moore. But I'm also talking about this because I don't think his ministry is genuinely good. And I'll get to that in a second. But let's watch him simp for the Pope some.
Christianity to become a new donor. Now, if you don't like Patreon or prefer to give like
Patreon
a one-time donation, we do have other ways to give. To do that, visit capturingchristianity.com/donate. But during this time, we really need to hear from new monthly donors on Patreon. All of the links that I've mentioned are in the description.
He's so desperate.
Okay, so with these two initial items out of the way, it's time for the big announcement. So the big announcement is that on September 20th, 2022, I decided to become Catholic. I'm currently in an RCIA program and will be confirmed this coming Easter. This decision came at the tail end of a deep study into the evidence for and against the papacy. As a Protestant, I went into this study with an open mind. Ultimately, I told myself that I would follow the evidence wherever it leads, even if that conclusion is uncomfortable for me or for my family. My Protestant friends were very confident that it would result in a deep confirmation of my existing Protestant beliefs, but they were wrong. What I found was that the evidence strongly suggests that the papacy is true. Now, the point of this video is not to go into all of the details regarding my conversion. Now that my journey on this subject has concluded, we'll no longer be capturing that type of content on this channel. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to get back to our roots of defending mere Christianity. We'll be covering philosophical arguments for the existence of God, arguments against theism like the problem of evil, historical arguments for the resurrection, and so on. That's what you can expect moving forward on capturing Christianity. And in fact, just to kind of fill you in, I recently engaged in a written formal debate with an atheist on the topic of the logical problem of evil. It'll take a couple weeks to turn that debate into videos, but that'll be up on the channel in the coming weeks. We'll also be releasing the in-person interviews we filmed at CCV2 on the topic of science and God. And then also Alex O'Connor, the cosmic skeptic, he's making another appearance on Capturing Christianity, where he'll be debating Dr. Joshua Sijuwadi on God's existence. All of that's coming up soon. We have lots of great apologetics content coming your way in the immediate future. So stay tuned. Now, so even though I won't be sharing the details of my conversion in this video, I will be talking about the details of my conversion on other channels. So in fact, Matt Fradd got so excited about this news, as you can imagine. He decided to pay to fly me out to the Vatican, the one in Rome, to detail my journey on his channel. So if you're interested in my reasons for conversion, the impact this decision has had on me and my family, and all the rest, then join Matt Fradd and I live on Pints with Aquinas from the Vatican tomorrow.
So that's all we're going to watch for his video, but there are other concerns surrounding Cameron Bertuzzi, and one of them is I would just classify him as an NPC. I just would. But among the concerns that I have is, first of all, again, in the apologetics world, for some reason, I think that discernment and apologetics go hand in hand. But people like Bertuzzi lack discernment. Like, for instance, William Lane Craig is one of the most famous apologists around. And that is basically someone who Bertuzzi promotes heavily. And, again, William Lane Craig is someone that doesn't believe in original sin, believes that the Bible preaches, has fiction in it. In the first 11 chapters of Genesis, he believes that those are fiction. And that's not something you can square with believing in the Bible. You can't do that. He doesn't believe that it's inerrant. So I don't. Again, that's William Lane Craig, obvious example. We can also look at, in 2021, during the height of the lockdowns and the mandates, this guy's shilling for the jab. He's trying to get you to take poison. And he brought on these two Christian scientists, or experts, I should say. Both of those words should be in air quotes. And this video just got ratioed hard. You love to see that. And it has aged very poorly. A lot of the claims, the scientific claims that these hacks make in this video have aged poorly. He doesn't have a conflicting view, probably because he doesn't want to get demonetized, in my opinion. That's the real reason. Because to me, this is a career for him. He's living a celebrity life. I get that. But that's not a biblical way to live. You're not supposed to be fond of sordid gain. And that's one of the qualifications for an elder in the church, not being fond of sordid gain. But at the same time, this is, these are qualities we should all aspire to be. But I see this as someone who's motivated by money, someone who lives pretty lavishly. And despite the fact that his ministry makes a lot of money, this is, insane how much he makes. This is more than a lot of other channels that I've looked at their Patreon and done an estimate of how much they probably make a month. And I wonder, man, do they support themselves off of this ministry? He well exceeds that. He can support, him and his wife can have both great careers, making, well above each the median average income in the United States. And he's hemorrhaging $3,000 a month. That's insane. And he's also a Black Lives Matter. He also went woke in 2020, as well as being a shill for lockdowns and stuff like that. Like, this guy, to me, not a good Christian witness, my opinion. But when you're promoting false teachers, when you're an NPC, when you're shilling for poison, you should quit apologetics. You don't have discernment. You don't understand the times. You should quit apologetics. And, a lot of people in this realm kind of flip theological camps because they're not really sure about what they believe. They're excited to find out what they believe. They're excited to defend that which they do believe. And those two things are very good things, but I don't necessarily think that translates into being a authoritative voice on a lot of these types of issues. So anyway, that's really all I got to say about that. One last thing, my housekeeping. evangelicaldarkweb.org is a website. It's a Christian news website. We have a free newsletter that you should subscribe to, or a Telegram that's also free as well. But if you want to support this kind of content, because again, you don't make money off YouTube ads at all, but if you want to support this kind of content, we have our own Patreon-like system built into our website. Little as $5 a month, or you can do a one-time donation. It's a one-time donation built using a subscription platform, but it will not create a subscription. So that's just ways that you can support. Again, all the money doesn't go to me. It goes to building this, growing this. We've had a lot of success growing the website more with the money that we've received. And we've been buying resources to cover, so like book reviews and stuff like that. So a lot of exciting stuff. And interview with John Harris coming out next week. That's also really exciting. So definitely want to subscribe to the Evangelical Dark Web. Have a blessed day, and I will catch you on the next one.